Hello, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop RPGs with friends. This is the last of our Vagabonds of Xcrawl game for the Intercontinental Group of Awesome, where Jen has modified Vagabonds of the Food or Dyfed. I don't know. It's a World of Dungeons RPG that has some cool bells and whistles and modified it so that we could play the ages old D&D setting of Xcrawl, which is a alternate reality American Empire where one of the entertainments is extreme dungeon crawling. And it's been pretty fun. We are heading back in. We've headed back into Smoky Mountains Crawl. And this time it's for real, friends. The cameras are off, but the revelations are still a-coming. Let me hand it off to you, Jen. You have the comm. You're in control.
Huzzah! Yes, our final dramatic session, I hope, of Vagabonds of Xcrawl, the Smoky Mountains Crawl. Last we left off, our heroes had returned to the dungeon, being informed that the Underdark had incursioned into it. Incurred doesn't really break apart neatly, that word. And that there were several staff members still missing, presumed dead inside. And DJ Willowburn came to you begging, basically, to go in and save her dungeon crawl and not tell anybody. And you've done it. You know that the alternative would be to have the Legion come in fully armed as they are and probably destroy everything and shut down this crawl and make it quite unrecoverable. The end of the session came with a shocking appearance. Yes, and of course the Legion will kill all of the rust monsters and all of probably the other monsters, because they're just gonna kill and destroy everything inside of there until it's just Legion members and the equipment that they brought in. And then they probably collapse the entire thing. And the non-unionized goblins, yep, yeah. Poor Flapjack would be toast. I'm going to start passing the mic around. I want folks to introduce themselves and who they're playing as. I am going to start with you, Alex. Tell us who you're playing.
I'm Alex, I use him, and I'm playing Debs or Debarak, which is her given name. And she is a half-orc, and in this incursion from the Underdark was the last place she was expecting to find Uncle Hebs, as she's called him since she was a wee babe.
That's gonna be awkward.
Yeah.
Gonna be awkward. Thank you so much, Alex. Next up, Tyler. Tell us who you are, who you playing.
Hi there, I'm Tyler, and I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Dominic Dob Little Big Man Stubbins, who is a small folk bard. He's personable and pleasant with a big smile. He likes to poke things with his rapier, and he is very small folky now that he's taken his small folk paragon, which I think is a really cool move. But he's flashy and likes to fight.
Nice, very good. Strong small folk flavor from this guy. All right, next up, Sabine. Tell us who you are and who you're playing.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I am playing Gildor Cobra in Glarion. Cobra is obviously the stage name, but it's also the name of his yoga fighting style. He has combined yoga with martial arts, and plans to start a school. And that's why he went into Xcrawl after his yoga show was canceled because he had a disagreement with the producer, really. Yeah, he's a half elf, and he's a half elf and has an elven father and a human father, and he has heard all kinds of terrible things about Drow from all the elven relatives because they're
the worst.
Yes, they are evil with a capital E and a capital V and a capital I and maybe even a capital L. So, yeah.
Can't trust them. Thank you, Sabine. Lastly, Rich, who you playing as? We know you are.
I am playing Philip Griffin Nearly, who we can see mirrors always. Yeah. We can see here, he is our token human wizard. He has a little adorable little ferret familiar, Urful J. Offengoof, who he uses for one of his signature moves. Not that we'd be doing signature moves down here in the place invaded by the Underdark. And Philip nearly has the desire to, he often brags about being graduating magna cum laude from the Long Island Wizard Academy. He doesn't brag about it, but definitely we have noticed he has some interest in his looking forward to having coffee with fellow teammate Gildor, Cobra, and Glarion.
Now, I heard that the Long Island Wizards Academy is it's actually more well known for its curling team.
It's true, but they say that their curling abilities are magical.
Okay. All right.
Can't wait to hear hear about your curling abilities, Philip.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. All right. Lovely.
Double entendre is for 800, Alex. Sorry.
Super good. I believe when last we left off, just sheer moment to moment, we're gonna start the episode last time on Vagabonds of Xcrawl. Does Dad know you're here? Was in fact the end cap quote.
That is correct. Does he?
And Heberok shakes his head. I wouldn't burden your father with this knowledge.
What are you doing here?
Taking charge. Reclaiming something that's ours.
This Xcrawl's yours? What?
Deborah, I understand that this might be difficult for you, and I'm honestly impressed by the tenacity of yourself and your team coming in here, challenging us like this. It's very orcish, very proud of you. But I'd prefer that things end here and that you all leave safely. I'll vouch for that.
And the people who are working here when you stormed in?
Unfortunately for them, they must stay here for the time being until we can be confident that we have met our goals and cleaned our exits. The rest of it would be up to the Legion.
Hebs, if the Legion come here, it's going to be a massacre. Both sides, probably. That's not good for any causes. Come on, just...
Oh, I don't plan to fight the Legion. I'm proud, but I'm not that proud.
Are you going to let the Drow do that for you?
And like,
look,
a couple of them kind of shrink, and the third like just snorts. I suppose you give us orders, sweetie, but I've still got a lot of things I want to do with my life. Your niece is cute, though. And now I want to sort of pop out of the discussion and do a little round of questions. So I took some notes. I had some shower thoughts last night. So happy with these questions. Debs, I want you to tell us a story about your uncle. This can be something from your experience or a story that your dad has told you about your uncle, but lay it on us. What really stands out to you about Hebarak?
I mean, I remember him being like a very rarely visiting fun uncle. That's like the kind of memories I have. It was always usually like a very awkward meeting between the two brothers. I mean, this is all through the filter of a small child. I don't think I really saw him that much as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not as a grown up. Yeah, this kind of just awkward kind of keeping up appearances in front of me, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, what's one of the most fun things that you've done or received as a gift from your uncle?
I think I actually got my first battle axe from uncle, and I think
you had to put it away for a couple years.
Well, I think my dad wanted to be the one who would give me my first battle axe, and I think uncle, he's never my dad's never said it, but he never really has liked. He'd like we've like practiced battle axes and stuff, and throwing axes and throwing hammers and stuff with my dad. For some reason, we never really usually use that one, the one I got from my uncle.
It was just never around, huh? Weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Alex. Next up, Gildor. The chatty drow is wearing something that makes you kind of envious, really. Like, what is it and why?
Wearing something that makes me envious. Yeah, I think what he's wearing is a sort of it's a really nifty belt. It's kind of looks like someone has interwoven some roots. It maybe is leather. It's unclear. It could actually be roots. These belts are usually, from what I understand and what I know about Elven society. I didn't grow up in Elven society, but I know that they are signs of sort of martial, not martial prowess in and of itself, but kind of like if you really understand the soul behind the martial arts teachings. So he might not be the greatest martial artist, but he has understood that belt would mean in a regular Elven society, at least, that he has deeply understood the truth behind martial arts, unlike me, who's a fake. So that means that I am really jealous of him, because I would never get that, because I would never dare to ask for it, because then they would know that they would figure out that I don't read, that I'm just parroting out phrases, right? But it might mean something very different to the draw, but still.
Oh, interesting. Thank you, Sabine. Next up, Dominic. What one of the more minion-y sort of drow there, just to refresh, in this room there's Yol, and then Hebarak, and then one drow who's been chatting and is wearing this really nice belt, and also just very well dressed overall, honestly. and just hot as hell. Great, like a much better, I think a 200% Van Dyke, where Phillips is like 100%. And then, you know, the other two drow who are, you know, they're fine, I guess. Looks wise, dress wise, they're doing all right, but they're clearly lower in station and narrative importance, hint hint. But one of them was wearing a Walkman and they've pulled the headphones down. What music can you hear like just leaking out?
Ooh. Oh, let's see. Well, we're the 80s. So it's got to be Tainted Love.
Oh man. It's a lot of new wave on this person's mixtape.
I will always go new wave.
Love it.
Man,
All right.
that or 80s industrial.
Nice. Nice. I like it. All right. Lastly, Philip, you get this question. What's an extremely clever way that they are using the control room right now that you notice?
You'd rather I don't introduce any new characters, even if they are somewhat small, right? Is that?
Drop me one more hint.
So I'm imagining the control room.
Because I'd rather not have to role play an additional character.
I don't think this thing. Okay.
Okay.
So we're on the same page. The control room in my headspace is a bunch of view screens where you can see all the angles. You can flip around some different toggles and the like. And the first thing that I thought of, feel free to Xcrawl card it, is a miniature beholder whose each eye stalks are looking at all the different view screens. I think I may have backup ideas, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. It's a terrible idea for our sake, but you know.
Yeah, I think that somebody's got a toy beholder, or maybe somebody's cast like a multiplicative eye spell. So you see these like floating, like glowing eye runes.
Yeah. Okay.
Going on.
Cool. That sounds good.
Cool. All right. All right.
All right. That's what we see. I'm very impressed by that spell.
All right, just notes taken. All right, now that we've set the scene a bit more, we're gonna jump back into the discussion. Deb's just challenged Heberak on the fact that this is going to be a bloodbath. And Heberak's basically said he doesn't really have any plans to fight the Legion.
Debs, ask him.
Or send his drow after that, because that's a little rude.
Debs, can you ask him what his plans are?
What are your plans? For dinner. Thumbs up to Gildor. Yeah. I mean, are you just going to poof, disappear?
Well, I can call it a puff of smoke. It's more of a puff of coal and stone dust. But here, since clearly you're not going to leave unsatisfied, and he touches the controls, brings up a screen, and you see this room that you didn't encounter in the dungeon before. Missy says, we've had to realign some of the magitech here so that I can observe this room. But behold, an ancient and previously lost temple to Orcus.
I think I'm like positioning myself now as a kind of little wall where people could have a conversation behind if they needed to have a private conversation while talking to my uncle.
Yep. And he says, this was lost to us many, many decades ago.
Is it all? What?
So Orcus is actually a semi-deprecated deity in the Empire's pantheon, in the Roman pantheon. And
Now, is this a history lesson from my uncle?
This is a history lesson from your GM.
Thank you. Just checking.
And I'm gonna say, like Debs, is she really devout? Does she like the religions?
No, she's...
No. Yeah. You
I
know,
mean,
here's what you know about Orcus. God, Roman, sort of recognized, sort of not. It's sort of like when something's decriminalized, right? It's not really the same as it being legal. It's kind of in that category.
Yeah.
And you know that Orcus is like Pluto,
oh,
but kind of not.
yeah. As in a kind of
He's an underworld deity.
rivalry-ish kind of equivalent, or like as in
There are no
you're basically worshipping Pluto if you believe, because it's just a different name. Depending on
there are certainly no conflicting mysteries or myths between these two gods. Like you don't have the religious thing. So your opinion as Debs is, well, it's just Pluto, right? They're just the same. They're both under the ground, you know, that differences. Who cares? They're just gods. Who cares?
Yeah.
But clearly it's important enough to Heberok to do this. And he goes on a bit further. I'd like to reopen this temple to worship activity, of course. But if I simply dug into that temple and went about our business, eventually our activity would be discovered.
I'm still trying to give like Griffin a chance to kind of. Griffin knows things about the Xcrawls, I hope. He took a tour. So I'm still trying to kind of distract Hebs and be the,
I think Griffin's caught up in the family drama and kind of paying attention to that.
Okay, then you probably get like when I glance back and you're just watching, I would be like, you'd get some sort of a elbow.
Oh, right, yeah, right. Figure out.
And then I think my conversation would get muffled, and other people could have some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Heberok turns his attention to you, Philip. He's got this kingly ass beard. It's real nice. Thick salt and pepper, more salt and pepper at this rate, but not bad. Goes, you understand how this would go.
Point of fact, I don't. I think that there's a real opportunity for some collaborations. Perhaps it could be Orcus Temple and Xcrawl Dungeon. You should explore that with DJ Willowburn rather than killing a bunch of people. Now, I think you guys are going to have to pay some recompense to everybody to really make this work.
You really think that I want to commercialize this temple?
Well, how do you expect to get worshippers?
You see, outside of the Empire, temples rely on faith to gather worship. And the relationship between the temple and the populace and the deity is one of sacred connection and contemplation. I would not free this temple from the forgotten halls of antiquity just to turn it into a souvenir shop with a couple of scary faces on it.
There's good money in merch.
You
Nope,
could
so
gain
noted.
worshippers easily. But it seems that you're set on your course, which is a shame because we really like Deb. And you're related to Deb.
So
Well,
you're
Yeah.
going to punish Deborah for my behavior.
No, actually we'll probably just punish you by stopping you and taking back this dungeon.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Ambrose, show them. And Ambrose is like, he makes a face for a moment and then lets it slide, just smooths over like a finger was snapped at him, and somebody's going to get talked to afterwards. And Ambrose brings up a different screen, and Gildor, name a person from your last trip through this dungeon who is on this screen. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to establish someone on this screen, and then if I'm like, well, any patches, I'll throw those in myself. But
so this is somebody who worked there,
There's
or
a-
guest, or
let's say that it's a camera into the old break room that
okay,
you had
okay.
previously rested in, and you see a set of tied up individuals being watched
Mhm.
over by a couple of orcs with guns.
Oh wow, okay. There was this nice, I think there was this nice medical tech, right? Lucio Bernari. Yeah. And
Yep.
or no, it was Lupita. That was taking care of me, I think. And she's there, and I don't know if she's looking frightened or mutinous or a mix of both. Probably a mix of both. I mean, she's a medic, she hasn't time for this nonsense.
Yeah, what is all this crap about?
Mhm.
Yeah, she seems to not be having a great time.
No.
And next I'm gonna ask Tyler, Dominic, who do you see on the screen?
I think if it's someone from down here, I suppose it should be someone we know and care about, like Flapjack.
Yep. Is Flapjack getting better, worse treatment than the humans that have been
Is Flapjack
captured?
watching over the prisoners? Sorry.
I've asked the question framed in a way where Flapjack is definitely a prisoner.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and I think he looks like it may even be kind of worse on him,
Mhm.
because I think he might have been trying to, ask for the new union rights since they've started organizing when these people came in, and that got him a good solid boot to the head.
All right. Then Philip, who do you see in there?
I'm racking my brain about the few sessions we've had from the moment when Willowburn showed up. I don't think we have seen Betty Brightwell. So could she be there? Because I'm going with the NPCs with the most heat in the Worldwide Wrestling lexicon that I do would make Tyler do the clapping thing.
I like it. Let's dive in with both feet and make it make sense later, if at all.
Okay.
This is a finale. We can say, well, we'll write around it next season. It'll be fine. And it'll be fine. I like it. I like having Betty there. Betty looks relatively distressed. And lastly, Debs. Who do you see on the screen?
I think amongst, I mean, they tied up or are they?
They're tied
Just
up.
in a-
They
tied up.
are clearly visibly unable
hostage.
to,
Yeah,
not at liberty to leave.
I think in the chaos of this incursion, I
Mhm.
think the rust bugs have been loose, and they're just in a similar manner to Offengoof. They are just bumbling around the people, and I think there's even one just sitting in Betty Brightwell's lap, having a snooze. I don't know if she's happy about that, but that's where it's chosen to have a nap. And
Betty's basically okay with rust monsters.
cool,
She's not wearing a lot of metal. She knows it's fine.
yeah.
But
And the
yeah,
rest are
they're
just bumbling around, kind of
right,
just
like doing their little pill
eating a
bug
fork.
routine, eating a fork.
Yeah.
Yep. Eyeing that mini fridge really carefully and being like, they think they can get it, but they're not sure. Very cool. All right. And the drow sort of seems to notice the rust monsters and grumbles a little bit, but tries to keep up appearances. Says, if you start a fight in here, we're going to have to do something to these hostages.
And you're not going to do anything already?
If we're allowed to do what we want, which, to be clear, because Hebsy over here he's thinking very high level, and he like reaches over and like does this to Heberak's head, like puts his hand on the top and like mwitches it in a very familiar
I think
fashion.
Deb's even kind of
And
cringes
like
at that move.
there's a grumble from Heberak, but and a clearing of the throat, but there's not much more reaction than that. And the drow goes on, what we'd like to do is reopen the temple, which we've done. And then we'd like to close this old mine. So the matter is settled. We have the space. Nothing bad happens to the topside community. We all go about our business.
I think when I see him sort of reach over on Hep and do that to do on him, I give a big smile, and I'll have kind of moved over to look at the screen. I clearly no danger. I'm just a little guy. And as I see him, I kind of look up at him and I'll say, oh, I figured that makes sense. I mean, he was talking to you like you were his minion, but I know that's not really what was happening here. Clearly, you're the one in charge.
Goodness, what a charming little doorstop you are.
That's me, as I swallow down the ball of hate and rage.
And Heberak sighs and goes, Deborah, please meet Imbros, who is my partner. Imbros has many talents and qualities to recommend him. Patience is not among them.
Partnering? Are you
I
no
just
longer
prefer bulleted pointless summaries to whole treatises. I don't need a PhD in why I'm doing this.
Don't you know this is the Legion's not gonna. It's not gonna end with just that.
They're not smart enough to make it past the surface.
They're dumb enough to try, and that's gonna get people hurt. Come on, just.
Hopefully just them.
I mean, maybe if you just give us the people, at least nothing further has to happen, or at least it's not going to escalate. Or just let's just walk out with the people. Come on.
Can't you maybe reach an accord with the Xcrawl people somehow? Because I mean, I imagine it would even for you be preferable not to face the legions, because they do have mages and they can just drop the mountain on your head basically. And I think that would serve nobody. That wouldn't serve the community outside. That wouldn't serve the Xcrawl organizers. So maybe if you all sit down together and find a solution, I don't know, is that possible? I mean, because I'm just to say I'm a yoga instructor, and that teaches you balance, right? And I think that what's happening here is things are out of balance, and maybe you can try to get balance back, but if the Legion comes in, that they don't do yoga. The Legions, no, they're not very good with yoga. But I mean, you're probably not a yoga person yourself, but it is very calming and it is very good for the body. I digress, sorry, but reaching a balance with the Xcrawl people, is that not possible without degrading your temple in some way? Maybe they can do their Xcrawl here and you can do your temple there, and they don't talk about it, you don't talk about it, everything's fine.
Never near the twain will meet.
That's a very gentle offer, but I'm disinclined to be gentle with the Adventurers Guild, the Empire, and especially the apparatus of Xcrawl after the many ways in which they humiliated my brother and made him into much less the orc than I know he can be.
But wasn't that his choice? I mean, he's an idol.
Is he?
Yeah.
Multiple long television specials have been run going into gruesome private details of his personal relationships.
Choose not to watch those.
People openly debate whether or not he is a thinking being, a fully, truly thinking being, capable of being safe with a human woman or attending public events.
Would think there would be racism in Reagan's America.
The Emperor does seem like a genial man in public.
While these conversations are going on,
Mhm.
does it look like to me that they intend, like if they were to give the order for these prisoners to be killed, are they using the communication stuff that are in this room?
I feel like this is actually worth taking to a roll.
Alrighty.
I didn't really want to break out the dice very much during the session, but I think that there are some interesting inflection points like this one where some rolling might be worth doing. So
Okay.
let's see here.
To
Shall
get
we-
my
By the way, should we, since Sabine had to do bio break right now,
yeah, I want to
Mhm.
do we
hold off
do
on
that?
Sure. Let's pause for a few minutes. So you are looking to see what kind of communications methods that they've got, right?
Right. And so I wormed my way up there trying to be non-threatening and pleasant. So little man, big smile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And mean streets of Brentwood, living off my wits. Seems like a good one here.
Sure.
Seems witty.
Mhm.
So I think that's probably my 2.
Sounds good.
What am I rolling? 2d6, aren't I?
Yes.
Yes.
I should like get in the roller room so that I can see this roll.
Oh, well,
I
it's
know.
a 7. Could have been worse. Could
True.
have been better.
True.
I'm glad I didn't waste any like one team on it though, which I thought.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. So it looks like they've got pretty full control over these consoles and their systems. You see that they've got some PA stuff hooked up. Jen doesn't know how a PA looks on a console like this, but I assume that Dom's been in a studio before, and you know, studios have places where you can be like, hey, that sounded flat, do it again, right? So you see that they have access to that.
And does that sort of look like what they would talk to them with? Am I seeing personal radios on them? I mean, hopefully, like the caves would block most personal, like walkie-talkie type things.
Yeah, you don't actually see walkie-talkies on anybody.
All right. Excellent. So the PA is a good chance how they would communicate with them. So I'm going to kind of moving, because it seems like a lot of conversations going on, and just kind of sidle up to Griff and say, under my breath, that console there, can you get it really hot?
I can.
Let's see if we can burn it out.
Philip Griffin Nearly would like to make that console a little bit on the hot side.
All right.
I'll be using my
So-
transfer of heat.
Yeah, using your transfer of heat. Do you care if people see you do it?
I do.
Okay.
I don't want
Cool.
them to, because they
Cool.
might hit me.
That's going to be challenging. And
I'll go ahead and dedicate a team to you by starting to make a distraction, getting myself over there where conversation is going on to maybe, stir up a little talk, say a comment here and there to spur on where that conversation's been going already with Gildor and Debs and everybody in that.
Nice. I think of my tags that I feel like we're being surprised. We're trying to be surprisingly clever here. We're trying to surprise and be clever.
sure. Okay.
And yeah, there are probably many other ways I could have heated up that console, but I'm trying to find a spell to solve the problem. So if you accept that, then I'll be rolling with the plus
It's a
one
fresh
for
new
team.
session.
Yay!
Yep.
All right. That looks
Hold
like
on.
Oh yes.
It's so one from team,
Yep. One from
one-
team.
one from clever, one from find a spell, -1 from an enemy tag, And I'm going to not change your math, but I'm going to say that, you trying to keep this secretive is going to be a big part of the consequences matrix.
Okay. All
So,
right.
Give it a roll.
All right. Here we go at a +2.
Mhm.
That is a mere 8. It could have been
Okay.
better. Mixed success.
All right. So, yep, the console starts smoking in front of one of the drow sidekicks. I think the one without the Walkman, who's really focused on a screen for a few seconds as the smoke rises up. And then sort of jumps back from the console, swears in Drow. Gildor, you're pretty sure that he just said shit pie? You're not sure? Like, Drow and Elvish have a lot of false friend words that sound exactly the same but mean very different things.
I feel that if whatever it meant, it was not like, oh, I'm so happy my console exploded right now.
It's probably not. Like, the context clues are strong. And the other one grabs a fire extinguisher and starts firing away at it. And Imbros is just next to you, Philip. And leans into you just a little bit and goes, that was cute, but I wouldn't do it again.
I mean, this is going to end up in a fight. You don't seem to like him. Maybe you help us out.
You're not very good at reading people, Mr. Nearly.
I mean, it was an educated guess. I honestly think. There's a point where he said something and
Heberock's my boyfriend. I don't like having my fingers snapped at me. That's all.
Yes, because
Oh, I did misread.
So you're going to have your arms restrained now.
no, that's not good for me. I'm gonna yeah, no.
Perhaps I'm like seeing this kind of other people.
And Imbros will step back a little bit and hold his arms up and be like, our little spellcaster here just lit our console on fire.
Your console, like an hour ago, this was the console of the, and I'm like looking for a plate. Like, do we run? This is, yeah, I think I'm gonna.
And Heberock's like, clearly not restraining you all out of respect for my darling niece was perhaps a mistake. I would still like for this to end peacefully. I am not interested in killing my niece's friends. It's very plain that she cares about you.
Uncle, I told you how to make this end peacefully.
Well,
Let the hostages go.
Well, if you don't want this to end in bloodshed between us and you and stuff, then maybe you look for a compromise. Even if you don't much like it, I doubt that the Xcrawl guys will much like it, but that's the nature of compromise. Balance is often achieved at some sort of.
You think that the Xcrawl people will compromise with me?
I think it's worth a try because we could be your go-betweens, right? And they send us down here.
I would love for you to be more specific.
I mean, I've told you, we need to find a balance, and that often hurts because it strains muscles and tendons, and that is not pertinent here. Anyway, but I think, look, you can maybe live with the Xcrawl guys doing their Xcrawl over there, and they are happy with you having your temple over here, because religion is always religion is what made America great, isn't it? And
I'm like,
and no,
uh,
and the Legion doesn't need to know, because the Xcrawl guys don't want the Legion to come in here and then destroy this mountain. So I think
you
we
don't see the
have-
Legion here right now, do you?
Yeah, they sent us.
That's true.
And I would ask for you, please, to tell
The
your
Legion
boyfriend
hasn't
not to
been
touch
called,
my
but you've
mage.
been called. And like they share a look for a moment, and Heverock's just like, more vociferous is not the same as more specific, but I'm seeing some interesting possibilities that you've just hinted at. So the Legion hasn't been called, but you've been called.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost smart.
Mm-hmm.
So we can still back down from this. We can go our separate ways. I don't have to punch you in the face. I really
Not
don't want to
even
punch you
going-
in the face, Uncle.
How about the stomach? Just like old times.
I can reach higher now.
And he like stands up out of the chair just to get a moment to compare the two of you. Are you taller than him?
I think he's hit that point where he's kind of like, you know,
Like
you-
he's
you
stooping and that's,
at age, he's kind of slouching
Yeah.
him, like, you know, he was a bigger man. Yeah, when, you know, maybe even just a few years ago, he would have been a bigger man, but I think it's comparable. It's, you know, without getting a tape measure out,
Mhm.
it's anyone's game.
Yep. And he seems pretty pleased by that.
He's
And
bulkier though.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And like he's wearing some very serious business armor.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible to get bigger, heavier armor.
He
But
tried.
he tried, and this is what he has, and he's had it for quite some time now, but it's well cared for. You know, it has that lived in look. Not that he lives in it, but you know, dings, dents, repairs, clearly polished, but not too much, because you know, he's got things to do, but he doesn't want to look good. There's some balance going on there, some balance. He says, so you can reach my face. He pats you on the shoulder genially. And then he gestures to Dominic. Maybe you can talk specifics with me.
I mean,
More words does not mean more specific, just to clarify.
I believe that they're being pretty straightforward with you. I'm sure we could make a deal that they would be more than happy to put up or let you put up whatever barriers between your area and the bottom of where they're going to Xcrawl. There would be no accesses. It'd be completely sealed in your direction. And at the moment, it is extremely advantageous for them to not let anybody know. And they'll be like a guard from this end, because they're going to be keeping a whole series of monsters in this thing. And the Legion won't come sticking their nose around as long as it's running.
You know, I've never enjoyed the term monsters. Not that I'm offended that you said so.
Oh,
Just always think that they're animals that people don't like.
believe me, I've had to live with bigotry for what's going up there, the same as anyone else. You know, being a doorstop and all.
And like Imbros has the decency to not look directly at you.
It's a win-win. And nobody has to get hurt. And let's be honest, at this point, you know Debs is going to tell on you. So the Legion will come down here. They will fight you. Lots of people will die. Your only other option is to kill us. And if that's the case, we might as well start fighting now.
Dibs, would you really tattle on your old uncle?
Yes. If you're going to be stupid, yeah.
Well, if you think trying not to live underneath a boot heel is stupid, then I guess I'm your dumbest uncle.
That's not what we're proposing.
I
We're
understand.
Good. I mean,
This is interesting to me. And having this additional time to simply speak with you rather than to continue digging in preparation for the Legion to arrive. This is good. Who will you be speaking to on my behalf, or would you feel comfortable bringing them here to me so that we could negotiate in person?
Think that is it Miss Williburn?
It would be
Does she-
DJ Williburn. Yeah.
DJ Williburn would be the person who would be doing these negotiations. I
Mhm.
don't know if coming right here in the midst of all of, well, what could easily be an ambush, but I'm sure she would be willing to meet you in a neutral place a little further on. And
But you could easily keep her safe while you brought her here.
I
You
mean,
would
I-
all be present. You would all have the liberty that you currently do. I would not bring additional personnel into this room.
You'd get a shrug from like a
I-
Debs.
Imbros, would you go with them to make sure that, for instance, they don't call the Legion while they're collecting DJ Williburn? And he does a few quick gestures, and a glamour covers over his skin, and now he looks like a regular degular elf that could go out in the sunshine.
oh, it's
And
cute.
And he like pats at some of his pockets and he swears. And the younger drow with the Walkman is like, "Here, boss," and hands him some sunglasses, and they're thick as hell.
I suppose that would work, though, in all honesty, if you're willing to go up there, couldn't you wiggly and we just all went up there to speak to her? I mean, already, no offense, and I have no intention of this. Once you go up there, we could just capture you.
That is true. And I do actually need to stay here to continue overseeing my team.
No, I meant, and I point at the, the drow now elf. I mean, we could capture them. I mean, we're not. We want to make this deal, but I suppose
I'd
would
like to see you
work.
try, but I understand your point.
But if you say that you'd like to see us try, you are saying that you could be
Not
a match for
literally.
all four of us. No, you are saying you're a match for all four of us.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was bring them here and then you can defend them. Anyway, we
Anyway,
have trust has to start somewhere. Right?
That's-
So
name your neutral location.
the place where we fought with the undead guys, maybe? Or the rust monster cave.
At the bottom of the
Pluto?
elevator shaft,
Yeah.
coming to
Yeah.
this level.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
mean-
would not go there right now.
Oh,
Oh.
the undead place. Is that the one he's saying don't go to?
The bottom of the elevator shaft, and the
Oh.
undead place is, the crumbling tunnels.
Mhm.
That counts as a neutral
Isn't the
location.
jelly there?
Yeah, no, he's like,
Wiggles.
that gelatinous cube would need to be probably moved and monitored.
Just put it in a box or something.
That's actually, did you know they suffocate?
Ooh.
I didn't. Oh,
They
Okay.
breathe in some fashion. We don't understand it yet, but it's fascinating.
boxes
Can
and
you
holes?
maybe make them glow a little so we can see them? That might be a bit more less intrusive. I mean, if you can change your shape and
And
things.
Ambrose is like, I actually had an idea like that when I was your age. Phosphorescent powder.
Mm.
Just toss that right in, and it works for a few seconds, but because the acids inside of them, it doesn't last super long. Enough for you to not run into one if you're just swirling it around. Maybe you get an air elemental to do that, so it's not worthless. I'd love to try something else. Making them glow would be fun.
Well, Griff, you've seen the place. Where's the nice middle ground?
Cool. I would imagine, like, we've listed out the places that our characters have been. Is there a cool middle ground?
That's the break room. The one of those pause rooms we've got bottled water and such. They have bottled water.
Break rooms. Yeah, like Dev says.
All right. How much time do you think you need?
Waiting with bated breath up the elevator shaft. So things have a chance to cool down, as long as you're not going to hurt anybody. Half an hour.
You have my word that absolutely no harm will come to these hostages, even if myself or my team must in fact accept harm themselves until you return. Good enough?
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Then some of my staff and I will be prepared in this break room in an hour.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Ambrose, if you are ready, let's go.
It's Ambrose, but
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Ambrose is still a nice name.
So is Ambrose.
And yours is Dominic. correct?
Dominic. Yes.
Right. Sorry, your information is all in one of these consoles, as well as this very interesting little game with these squares and numbers. Minesweeper, that's what it's called.
Oh.
So off you go to collect DJ Willowburn. You trace your way back through the access tunnels, the utility tunnels, and the stairs, unfortunately, But as I recall, it's a shockingly low amount of stairs. It's like 2 or 3 flights of stairs. Well, floors worth. A flight is half a floor's worth, I think. And up into the light, which clearly causes Imbros some real discomfort, as it's not even lunchtime yet, really.
You okay?
I'm fine.
We'll make it quick.
So you and Uncle Hebs. How long?
It does seem like an odd couple, doesn't it?
I mean, you're less of an asshat than his last boyfriend, I guess. So.
I think we'll never hear from him again.
Yeah.
Would the ropes of fire resistance help with the sunlight problem that he has? Because you know, any chance I have to get rid of my rope and then, well, show
I
off,
mean, okay, when you put it like that, yes, absolutely.
and I will offer him, I mean, these are ropes of fire resistance, and probably when you were my age, you had dozens of them, but maybe they will help, you know.
Honestly, I've never had one of these. And he like drapes it over his shoulders like it was an overcoat. And it's such a good highlight color with the rest of what he's wearing, just on accident almost. And
Sure.
yeah. Well, listen, that I appreciate this. Thank you, young man.
Mm. Yeah, Grandpa, it's okay.
I'm not your granddaddy yet.
Yeah, but I could do without the whole young man and mortal child and stuff from the full-blooded elves that I usually get. So
I never
maybe-
called you a mortal child.
No, but others have. And the young man, and when I was your age, it's the same thing.
I
basically.
mean, you're Gildor and Galarian. You're, how old are you? Out of character?
I'm early 20s, I think.
Yeah,
Gildor is pretty
you're
young, but
you're 24.
yeah. So
I'm 78.
okay.
I did things when I was your age. It's not racist.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Technically, it's ageist.
It's still not ageist though, because I'm saying it's just a fact. It's just a factual comparison. We had the same ideas when we were the same age. I tried it because I'm a magical experimenter. I love that kind of crap.
Kind of crap. Like,
Yes, it's my whole career.
yeah. It was just a suggestion. I don't know anything about magic. I'm just a yoga instructor.
Have you ever thought about taking a few magical courses?
No,
You might have more talent for it than you think.
I have talent for yoga. It's not a bad thing.
Talent is just an applied interest,
Yeah.
which of
whatever.
course means that the more interest you apply to something, the more talent you have. I am sure that you are excellent at yoga.
I get it. You're a full-blooded elf and you have all the time in the world and you have all the wisdom in the world, and I'm just half human and know nothing. I get it. I've heard it before. I'm over it. I have balance. I'm calm. I'm not insulted. You didn't
You are.
mean any harm. Thank you for your instruction. Leave me alone, please.
Ah, well, he's so not bothered that he needs to tell me all about it. Very good. Thank you again for the rope. This really is solving some of my son problems. I feel much more comfortable. Deborah, Debs, if I may.
Yeah.
Your uncle is such a smart man, and he has muscles the size of boulders. I just can't get enough of him. He's so fun. And he's just so muscular. I can't even.
I bet I could beat him in arm wrestle. I don't think she could.
I think that you should challenge him to an arm wrestle as soon as you get back. He would love that. It would be just like old times for him. He really misses your family. And he tells me all of these old war stories about your dad. I'm getting a little bored of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I get the war stories as well.
Really? Even the one where he suplexes the bear. I mean, it's a pretty simple
Into another
story.
bear, yeah.
Into another bear. Yes,
Yeah.
we get it. We get it. You're a very big, strong orc man. I mean, if Heberok did that and I saw it, I'd never shut up about it either. So I guess it's fine. Still, I wish that there was a bit more. There's a bit more trade between the unders and the overs. And of course, I get it. Blah, blah, blah. Hegemonic mode. Yada, yada. Corrupting forces. But then it would be a little bit easier to get a legal pass. Even, of course, if I had one, though, without putting on my best elf face, I would probably still be shot in the street.
Yeah, there's issues up here. Yeah.
Gosh,
I've been told that you sacrifice people to your. I don't know. That is not true, I assume, is it?
what, to Arachne?
Well, yeah.
She's not even a hero.
So you would sacrifice them to somebody else?
We don't sacrifice anybody.
Okay. Just checking.
No, that's, I mean, goodness. I mean, before New World, BNW, year 3000, right? I think that back then we used to, but also that was the same time that, the cult of Dionysus was tearing people limb from limb with bare human hands and eating them.
Oh, the good old days. I think I'm a strong follower of Dionysus.
Back
But
when
maybe
the
not-
mysteries really meant something.
Maybe not ripping apart people, that's not.
Yes, I mean, at least when we did it, there were daggers involved. But that was thousands of years ago. And now, at the most, I believe that some mysteries inculcate new members with symbolic bloodletting. So, a blood stick like you get in a doctor's office.
Vegan sacrifice.
Exactly. It's clever. He's walking out with you down to the break room. Shoot, what was the question I was going to ask? Oh, Philip, what's a misconception that Imbros might have about folks living in the Empire?
Wow, that is interesting. He seems really educated, so it probably is some kind of cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
is it something positive about the empire that he's not aware of, or is it just a factor of day-to-day life that because he doesn't live in the society he isn't aware of?
It's all up to you, man.
I think that there's similar
like
to how
like
the-
something that might come up in this break room, right?
damn.
Where so like it can be any kind of cultural thing related to food and drink, or using the toilet, or like
Oh, okay.
anything like that would be pretty easy and convenient. Or if you want him to just non sequitur ask you a dumb question.
I mean, the idea that we have running water could be interesting, because maybe that's not a thing they do down there, or it
I
could
think
be
that they do have running water.
okay.
They might think we don't, though. I mean, a friend of mine was in an exchange program in like America, and they was actually asked if we had fridges in Germany. So
What?
yes, he then pointed out that that was a German fridge that they had. So, but yeah, and it's not. They weren't the only person that happened to.
But
Yeah.
we've had refrigeration for such a long time.
Yeah, well, but
Any
do we
wealthy country would easily have it.
Hey, let's go with fridges, right? Because it's
Yeah.
underdark, so it's always cold.
Yeah, so Imbros has never seen a refrigerator. Is that kind of what you're going for, or is it the other? Okay.
Yeah,
Quick
he's never
question.
seen an ice box.
And have the rust monsters managed to tackle that fridge by now? Since we're bringing it up.
No. So for all of y'all and the viewers back home, just a very quick anatomy of a fridge, right? Because I've had to take them apart to do all of the things. It is usually, especially for a mini fridge, right? It's got a metal shell on the inside of some kind, perhaps plastic, and then a plastic shell on the outside, insulation in between, because, you know, you cool the air inside the fridge, you want it to stay that way. And then you have copper coils to do that heat exchange, to take heat out of the fridge and put it outside. So clearly, this mini fridge has a metal interior, a plastic exterior, and those coils, and they can smell the metal. And it's like an enameled metal too, which is still pretty obnoxious from a rust monster perspective. And they've made no progress. And people keep like taking things out of the fridge and like presenting, or you notice as you enter, like one of the orcs who's hanging out here is like taking something out of the fridge and presenting it to the rust monsters, who just don't care about it. And he's like, I don't know, little guy. I don't know what to do. What do you want? You can't have my pistol, buddy.
Okay, that's slightly adorable. Is the orc cute?
I'm going to do the ultimate decision maker here.
Yeah.
Yes, he's real cute.
Okay.
What orcish feature on his body do you find the most cute? Like, go ahead and describe this orc to me. Here we go.
Okay. I think the feature that kind of like draws the eye, apart from, you know, very pleasing shape, he actually has, it's kind of cute, he's got lopsided tusks.
Aw.
Like there's not like one's been damaged or anything, it's just literally one's shorter than the other.
Oh, daydreamer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, the like,
And it kind of gives a
pink
lopsided
frame.
smile that's quite roguish. And the whole chatting with the rust demon is just, you know,
Yep.
melting my heart.
Yep. And he's like, oh, I should clear out. Sorry about that. I was distracted, Mr. Nirnath. Good to see you. Feel free to guard the door. It's fine. Oh, okay. Thank you. Please be nice to our little rust monsters here.
I would dream of.
Master
I pick up
Dargor
on-
is very, very interested in cave ecology and creatures. So just letting you know it would be a faux pas. Thanks.
I'm picking up the rust monster, sorry.
Yeah. And time for another flip. Okay, it is not rusty from before, but basically after a moment of adjustment, it's like, oh, this isn't hostile. Okay. It still kind of pill bugs a little bit, but it's like it opens up halfway. And it's like
It's peeking out from its. Yeah.
Yep, it's comfortable with this. Imbros, sweeps off the couch and has a seat and like grumbles and rubs his throat. Wish I had something to drink.
We'll get him something. There's a fridge, right? There's some drinks in there. Fine, I'll get you something to drink. There you are. What was that drink called? That was it Dominic? No, it was Philip was carting around a Doctor Enough. He gets one of these, and he's an elf. He gets a glass.
Yep, enoughs go around.
Mm.
You guys were hanging out in the break room. Are any of you like going out to go find DJ Williburn?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the big need to do. So
So let's split scenes here. Who wants to go and grab DJ Williburn and who wants to stay with Embros?
yeah, how about okay, I wouldn't mind going. Griff sound looks like he
Yeah.
wants to go.
Yeah.
Gild, you want to stay here? Deb sounds like with a handsome emerald lad might want to stay. What you thinking, Gil? Want to stay with the drow to
No.
continue having talks with them?
Not particularly, but I think I would stay with Debs actually. So she isn't here all by her lonesome and has some kind of backup, right?
Gotcha. Okay. Because and more that was just Sabine. I don't know if you wanted to have more sparring with the drow or not.
Yeah.
Gildor does not want to have any kind of sparring with the drow. The drow gets on his nerves.
Gotcha.
The rest of us, of course, find it very entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes, that is kind of what gets on his nerves.
All right, cool. So Griff and I are heading up. We'll be back shortly.
We'll keep it safe here.
And I'll kind of move up and kind of tug on your arm, Debs, so that you lean in. Be careful.
Of course.
And I'll hug your leg.
I awkwardly lean over and kind of basically squeeze your head, basically.
All right. Let's go, Griff. Do you have a tender parting moment there, Griff? With
I mean, we're not leaving forever. Stay safe, Gil.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, really look forward to that coffee.
Yeah. And it looks like we might live to drink it.
Yeah. I'll try not to antagonize Mr. Oh, I can do glamour and wizardry, and I'm so great here.
You're way better than he is.
You're not at wizardry.
Oh, I mean,
But-
you just try not to horny now my action. Let's go.
Charming. So, all right, you guys go back out to the utility tunnels, take the stairs up top. Just as a refresher from before when we went in to this dungeon, DJ Willowburn had driven you here in her car, right, and parked in what's clearly a service lot nearby, and pointed out the access tunnels to you. And that's where she still is, actually. I think
Yes.
she's not even inside her car. She's like pacing around it, smoking up a storm.
Griff, this may be a hard sell, but let's be honest, it's the best one she's got.
It's lose her career and lose the dungeon, or do this. So I think it's an easy sell.
Yeah, let's play it tough and let her know.
Okay.
And we'll wave and head over.
And she's immediately riveted on you two and goes, "There's only two of you. Where are the rest?
They're down with the invaders.
Are they hurt? Are they safe?"
We are in parlay now, DJ Willowburn. We come with an offer that Griff and I think's pretty good. And to be honest with you, it's probably the only one that's going to save your crawl.
Okay.
There's a temple down there
Yeah.
to Orcus.
To Orcus,
Uh-huh.
but
Mm.
was a temple to Pluto.
Semantics doesn't matter now. They want it sealed off. We make sure no one goes around to fuck with it. We don't let anybody else know it's there. They do their thing on their side of the wall. You do your thing on your side of the wall, and no one needs to know more.
And that's it.
And that's it. They'll give back everybody they've got. Right now, all the people, all your
Mhm.
people are prisoners. They'll release them.
They're alive?
They are.
Praise Juno. Okay. It's a great start. Are you going to take my word back? How is this going to go?
You need to come down.
Just need to formalize it. Trust us, we can get you out of there if anything turns, but I really think this is a win-win on both sides. You're going to effectively be their buffer against the outside world and the league. They'll act as a buffer against the Underdark encroaching any further.
And it's
Yeah.
never bad to have Underdark contacts.
Exactly. Maybe they throw some monsters your way down the road, but I wouldn't even approach that right away.
Okay. So you a naturalist or something?
Let's go and talk. We'll talk about.
Hold on. And she like goes and takes her keys and opens up her trunk and like has a quick rummage. Dominic, is there anything fun in her trunk, interesting, etc.?
Gosh. Yes, of course there is, because I'm put on the spot. I'll come up with it. I think that she has a fondness for model trains, so we could see a whole set of like a small version that she's building of the dungeon that she's going to have for her up at the house with a train set to go all through it.
Hold on. Yeah. It's she's got this dungeon battle co-branded prototype set, right? This play set of it. And you know, the box is there, but it's clearly been taken out of the box to be at least looked at or something. And she grabs a bottle of, Rich, help me. Let's say that you live in the South.
Okay.
And you have overcome some hardship to be extremely euphemistic and Yankee about it. And now you have a real person career. What would
Mhm.
you still drink?
Check me on this, Tyler. Are we thinking Fago? Are we thinking Czech Cola?
Oh, that sounds good. Or the like Laura Lynn Ingalls brand.
Oh, that might be too obscure for me.
But no, I
That's
like
what it
yeah,
is.
I got
Yeah, she's got a bottle of that and she just like pops it open, has a drink, thinks for a moment, tosses it into her purse. It's like they're not gonna know or care. Fuck it. Let's go. Wow. Oh, I can't wait for this to be over. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that nobody's dead.
Oh, by the way, the guy that did this is Deb's uncle.
What?
Come on.
Hold on, she has an uncle and she follows you, and that's like where we're certainly, that's fade scene time, I think, as we point the camera back at the break room. And I gotta click on this thing. Alex is sent a picture. Green with
Ooh.
Envy, the Orc romance novel cover. Love it.
Jade Heat, baby.
The sequel. Oh yeah.
And in fact, this orc who has been guarding the room now for this length of time, he's poked his head in a couple of times to be like, everything okay in here? Is anybody something, you know? And it seems like it's been unnecessary. You're not sure.
Oh yeah, look, I'll repay the favor that Devs did me. So I'll elbow her and say, hey, I think he's looking at you a lot more than he's looking at me.
That's the biggest threat.
Yeah, maybe you should introduce yourself, biggest threat.
So he
And just
knows
say
he-
hi.
So he like knows he'll get in trouble if he pulls anything.
Yeah, so he knows your name and you can gauge his intentions.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense. Yeah.
and you can find out if he's actually kind of likable or something. I mean, he's cute, but might be a dick.
I didn't notice.
Really?
Gotcha.
Debs, get your eyes fixed.
Okay, may have noticed a little bit, but I mean, see those arms?
Yeah, so
Okay. You
I
sure?
mean, do you want someone like him over there?
Who you gesturing to the
Ambrose, the dark elf, yeah.
Mm,
Mm,
I mean, it's not the. I'll go talk to him.
yeah, good. just remember, take a deep breath and listen to your heart and your soul. And don't punch him unless you need it.
Little rap on the door, please.
And very quickly it opens up.
Assume you've been feeding the hostages.
Oh. Well, it has been quite long enough, but we've been making sure that they're hydrated and they get bathroom breaks, of course.
So, good. And your name is?
Oh, it's Shago.
That's nice name.
Thanks.
Debs? Deborah.
Oh, right. You're Master's niece. That's
Master. Sorry.
I mean,
Yes. Master's niece. Well, I hope I don't have to punch you.
I don't know. I hope you don't have to punch me either. It seems like that would hurt.
Yeah.
And he gives you that like lopsided tusky grin.
I think Debs literally has to like look away slightly at that because that's a little bit too much. In a good way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We did get into an altercation with some of the goblins, but
Is Flap? Oh yeah, no, sorry.
no, Flapjack he got into a bit of a tangle with somebody, but I think he's fine. We let Lupita, the medic, look after him. And she says he's going to be fine. We've separated him from the other goblins for right now.
So,
Between you and me, I hope that things go good for them. I don't have anything against goblins.
yeah, I was saying we were in the Xcrawl and we, once they got to the point we didn't have to fight, let them on their way. I mean,
No,
live and let live, I say.
Yeah.
So you've been with this crew long?
Couple years now. I mean, this outfit is how I get my apprenticeships. So,
Oh, is he full orc or half orc? I guess he's full orc.
Jim flips a coin again.
Yeah.
He is full orc.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's full orc.
What's something that helps distinguish him as full orc as opposed to half orc?
I mean, I think that tusk size is a lot more diminished
For a half orc.
for half orcs.
Yeah. So his
Like mine are little itty bitty tusks compared to.
Yeah.
They're barely even
So his
tusks, but-
fully grown tusk is pretty tusky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, yeah, of course. So I don't know, I probably have a couple more years in this outfit. Then my apprenticeship will be complete, and then it's really up to me where I go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a very awkward.
But
mean, I-
yeah, you do. You're a gladiator. I thought that.
Yeah.
No offense, but I thought that this was a much more bloodthirsty kind of operation.
I mean, it can be. I caved in a like this fire snake's head with my warhammer. One hit.
Oh, that was you. Oh shit. They've got and he says something in Orcish, right? And
Picture box. TV. The TV.
he's in Orcish. It roughly translates to blood and bone pit.
Oh, you've got your own version.
Not abattoir, because abattoir implies that it's going to be put to use later.
Pit with punching.
No, it's not like a dump either.
Slaughterhouse.
Do you guys not have a word for a place where you dump corpses that isn't for burial?
No,
Oh,
not really.
huh.
Uh,
Okay. Well, there's kind of a place like that here for, I think they're composting. Maybe, I don't know. But we saw that snake, that fire serpent corpse.
That was me.
That was
I mean,
just
the
one.
others, the others
that-
out, but
Hold
the
on,
others
was
out.
that just one hit or was that like 2 hits?
Well, I mean, Gildor was climbing on it and doing something to it, and then I hit it in the head with one hit.
Man. Oh, I'm gonna win some arguments tonight. Fun.
I should put it to check.
Good show. And he makes to like punch you on the arm a little bit, but then it kind of stops and goes, okay, you should get back.
I mean, I think I give a little bashful smile and give him a shoulder punch.
Yep. Then he loves it, obviously, but he's going to continue awkwardly
Yeah.
ushering you back into the room. You know, if everything's okay in there, then I'm going to keep guard.
Mm. Yeah, and
Don't cause trouble. Like,
he'll wave back. Back to completed reconnaissance. Is
And did it go well, your reconnaissance?
he's in an apprenticeship and he's going to be finished in a few years. His name is Shago.
Shago.
His name is Shago. He's an apprentice, going to be finished in a few years. He saw the corpse of the big fire snake that I told him.
Okay.
And he's they're feeding the lozenges and stuff. Toilet breaks. So if you need the toilet, I'm sure just say if you need.
If I need one.
If you need the toilet break or anything or a drink,
Oh.
I'm sure you'll.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
just
I
like
do.
work.
The bathroom is attached to the room you're in, so you
Mhm.
don't need to ask permission to use it, particularly, especially since you're not bound up. It looks like the hostages have been moved to another room so that we don't have
Oh.
to,
Mhm.
so that I have
Yeah.
a strict limit to how many
Voices.
voiceable characters I got to do at one time.
Hmm.
See, that's planning right there. That's thinking. It's using your head. Yeah, Imbros has found some packet of like single serving snack, in a little cellophane pouch. What is it?
Food.
Well, what kind of food though? He's like inspecting the single nuggets of it.
It's just some puffed up potato. I have no idea what it is. You
Is
can
it in
put it
like
in
the
your,
shape of like those crisps that are in the shape
Oh,
of
yeah.
bears or something? Just
yeah.
something
Mhm. These
like,
are
you know,
these are
like, why is this food in the shape of a thing that is the shape of?
because it's. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's animal crackers.
Yeah.
Yes, it's animal
Clearly.
crackers.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you can eat those. Don't eat the pistachios. They're elves can't digest them.
It's animal crackers. It's not meat.
No.
It better not be. If somebody did this to meat, that's. I can hardly think of a more powerful crime against nature. Almonds? These are almond cookies. And he like has another one.
Right. There is a list. There is a description on the package what it is. I'll also tell you an amusing story about an animal, and it's for children. It's not real.
It's for everyone.
Boys and girls all around the world love Artemis's animal crackers. Meet all of your animal friends. Play in the sunshine all day. They wrote this just because somebody felt there had to be words here.
Mhm. Also, sunshine is good for you. I mean, not you, but most people, the above ground people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Goodness, I mean, orcs need a certain amount of sunlight too, or else they start to get lethargic, sick.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't know that. Oh, is that like, no,
I think it causes a vitamin deficiency.
yeah, that's possible. That is very possible. I've not studied orc anatomy, but it causes vitamin deficiency in humans and elves. I mean, humans mostly. Elves not so much. They don't. They like moonlight, I guess.
Yes, and of course we actually, we're not obligate carnivores or anything like that, but we do need to have meat more often.
Mhm.
And liver specifically, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. You know, I can tell you about as part of yoga is of course diet. Suggestions is part of yoga because you have to not just take care of your body's muscles, but of all parts of your body. It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, you even take your practice into diet.
Mhm.
It's strong. Do you cook your own food meals?
Yeah, mostly.
I find it very rewarding cooking.
Yeah. I mean, you have to know what you put inside your body, right?
Exactly. And he sort of pauses. So I'll level with you here out of character. Like Imbros has definitely seen at least some episodes of Who Wants to Be a Legionnaire. Like he knows who your dad is.
I mean, everybody knows who my dad is.
Everybody knows who even people who live underground know who your dad is. They've been in a cave, they still know who your dad is.
He's that ubiquitous.
But like, what's something that Imbros might know about your father?
I think, yeah, that my father comes from a small wood elf community in Eastern Europe and has made his way through show business for the last 50 years because my father tells that story a lot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I know that elves up in the Empire have a somewhat easier time of living than, say, small folk or orcs or half orcs.
Yeah.
It just seems to me like it doesn't mean that they didn't lose anything.
I'm not an elf.
You have elvish family.
Yeah, well.
And human family.
Yes, I'm not human either.
I understand that. Simply saying,
Look,
are
I
both
don't know where
sides-
I
are
don't know
both
where
sides-
you're getting. Look, Ambrose, I don't know where you think you're getting with this.
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about my family.
Oh, all
Just-
right.
Okay,
Understood. All right. I'm
would
simply
like-
curious about elven traditions and how they survive the American
then
Empire.
maybe find an elf and ask them. Shut someone down is something that I would really like to roll here.
Mhm.
Because Gildor does not want to talk to this person. I mean, I think that is pretty clear to Deborah. To Debs, because she's in the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of just very pointedly trying not to enter the conversation and kind of just little glances between the two of you.
It's significantly more awkward than you want to try and get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like mildly freaking out that Gildor is going to direct a question towards her at this in this conversation. She does not want to be engaged in it.
Where does he? Philip, Dom, please hurry. Oh yeah, Gildor will stand up and say, I'll check if Philip and Dominic are coming back. Well, yeah. Maybe you can ask Debs about elves. And I'm out of the room and running to the jade hunk, I guess.
I don't really have that much to learn from Debs. I know that basically no orcish traditions are respected in the American Empire, but unless I've missed something.
I mean, Dad doesn't go out giving interviews about it, but he has his shrine.
Well, that makes sense. I don't quite have the manpower to look in every house for the shrines.
Hmm.
That's good. You don't have any embarrassing stories about Hebs that I can bring back, do you?
Mainly just shouting matches between
Oh,
him and Dad. Less embarrassing, more just, yeah.
that's sad. They seem to love each other, and I wish that things were easier for them.
Now, if Uncle didn't do things like this,
If
Just
the
saying.
Empire didn't consistently treat orcs
yeah,
as
well, Dad
subhuman,
doesn't have control over the Empire.
he sure doesn't.
And Uncle doesn't seem to have control of himself either, does he?
I would argue that the answer really is that neither of them have control over the Empire.
Hmm.
And he has, until now, thanks to you, had no inlets, no routes to take where he could trust the Xcrawl authorities to negotiate with him. Hopefully, things will go well and he won't, quite frankly, feel like punishing somebody for the way his brother was treated.
That wasn't a great time. No.
No. But
Just-
I'm going to be here and I'm going to try my best to help him keep his head level.
Okay. If you're not lying, yeah, you're definitely an improvement on the last boyfriend. You wouldn't even play hammer throw with me.
Terrible. He tried to break in
Oh,
to your uncle's grotto.
what? Oh, what did?
Oh.
So he's not around anymore.
Oh, he's alive, but
Okay, I mean, he was an assassin, as I said, but
he has some very interesting scars on his ass.
yeah, that's
When he sits
That I
down,
can
he
live with.
thinks of some particular spellcasting techniques that I know.
okay.
And for that, I think we'll jump to Philip and Dom. As you're piecing through the utility tunnels towards the break room, DJ Willowburn has been pretty dismayed to see her dungeon in this state, but also she's really trying to keep her head in the game. She's already clearly tabulating things, being like, all right, I'm going to need to do this and this and this and this to get things back up and running. And by the time you make it to the break room, it's under guard by this muscly orc with sort of lopsided tusks and a pistol, which he is holding, but he's holding it in a pretty disciplined way, you know, pointed very comfortably down, gestures to you for a moment to halt and stop. That's DJ Willowburn? Yes. Excellent. Please come inside. Master Heberak will be with you shortly, and opens the door for you. You enter in and you see the break room. It's messy in here, but not super damaged. I think Debs, do you still have like a rust monster sort of cuddling in your lap?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is happening. Imbros is sort of lounging on the couch in this very opulent, I own everything sort of mean. Drinking a doctor enough. Another rust monster or two are like still exploring the area and, you know, sniffing at the fridge jealously here and there. But they're kind of giving up now. They're starting to explore again. Gildor is there and just seems like a bundle of nerves.
Hey, team.
Hey,
Hey. Oh,
Okay, Gildor?
Everything's gonna work out.
ooh,
things are
great.
people are on board.
So can we leave then?
I think we gotta wait till they talk. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Everything's awesome.
Namaste.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. Are you okay, Philip?
Oh, yeah. I really feel like this is going to work out. It's just a matter of getting the sides to come to an agreement. The sooner the better, right? Get these poor
Mm-hmm.
hostages out of here. And
Adopt a Ross monster. I mean, no, probably not going to adopt a Ross monster, but see the Ross monster is safe.
I don't wear armor.
They
I don't have any
promised the
problems.
Rust monster.
True.
We would.
True. I don't.
That was
Rust
one of
monsters
my
are gonna be
reason.
fine, Dan.
And Willowburn is like, you can take them with you as soon as this negotiation's over. We've already agreed. It's fine. And they can, as much as they absolutely love to always look for something to eat, they are fine. These are some very well-fed boys. They can go for a few hours without a meal. I promise.
I think I'm feeding the doctor enough that I've finished feeding the can to the.
Yep, it's nibbling away at it. It's a tin can, so it's or maybe it's the 80s,
Aluminum.
so it's probably aluminum. It's not Iron Man, but he's still having fun. He's still having a good time.
I think I've got it in a kind of basically
It's like crinkle and crunkle.
bottle feeding a baby kind of position.
Mhm.
Got tin can into they can nibble on.
I'll move
Yeah.
over. Hey, Debs. Should chat up, tall, green, and handsome.
Well, I talked to him.
Mm,
Yeah.
nice ass.
Yeah. Not that it looked. I give him a wink. Dom, not the oak.
And Ambrose is like reading the label of another packaged food product, and he just says, once you go green, you never come clean.
Waiting all session, Jen.
Waiting
Waiting all session.
I just came up with that right now.
Wow.
Nice.
That's pretty impressive.
I had a couple of bad drafts there, but I was like, no, I can take this. I can go. I've got this. Yes. All right. All right. Self-congratulations over. And amidst some of the chatter, there are some, to say shouts would be a little too alarming. There are some obvious throaty call and response things going on in Orcish outside. And Debs, you hear it and you know that it is basically I am ready to receive the warlord. The warlord is coming.
Hebs is on his way.
Yep. We are here today to do honor, that kind of thing.
I definitely say that out loud. It's like it's just Uncle Hebs coming, because I guess that could probably sound pretty intimidating if you can't understand what he says.
Yep. And then the guard outside, of course, makes the call. And there's some pounding sounds, probably of fists on armor. And then Heberok is escorted inside. and he's wearing this great helm of some kind. Philip, what does this helm look like, and why is it a crime that he's not on TV looking like this?
Gosh, orcish helm. I think that I'm stealing imagery from Warduke from the Dungeons and Dragons animated series or cartoon.
Okay,
So it
never
has.
saw it.
Oh my goodness,
All right,
you're not
well,
missing out. But it is a
Okay.
show that existed. There, does that help?
that helps. Warduke. I'm gonna say D&D.
I'm pulling up. There's actually it turns out there's
Images.
I just now found out there's a pop figure.
The bats on either side. The bat
Yes, so we got
helmet.
the
Yeah,
like bat
yeah.
ears and the very obvious, like inspired by kind of Greek helm, right? That is rounded and there's a weird bat that comes over the forehead. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
pretty dope. But there is a
Yep.
pop figure of this thing that I'm gonna. It's GameStop sells it, friends. So just so you know, there I've dropped.
I know it's legit.
It's legit now. It's adorable.
Mhm.
Okay. Does it
I had
come
the
with a
action figure
D20?
back in the day.
As did I, my friend. Don't anymore. Although my mom may have kept a lot of my action figures,
Oh,
a
wow.
surprising amount in the closet downstairs. I like opened it up once looking for some cans and went, "What is that? They might be worth something someday." No, they're not gonna be worth anything.
How sweet of her. Yeah, so he comes in like that and nods to you all and then focuses on DJ Willowburn and pulls off the helm and says, "I am ready to speak. Let us negotiate these terms. I would be quite happy to leave here without further bloodshed." And then they discuss, and I think that two NPCs talking with each other is not necessarily
Mhm.
that exciting. But I'll summarize and say that after some initial sort of feeling each other out, it's a really close negotiation. You might have gone in expecting that DJ Willowburn was going to roll over on everything, but she actually demands some concessions from Heberak, most of them relating to, "Hey, could you help me cover up the fact that you were fucking here, asshole?"
Mhm.
Smart.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Okay, I have a couple of bullets that I can lend you to blame for this incursion and the rampage that they clearly went on, which is going to be extremely credible because he used them to tunnel into the space in the first place." So, they talk about it. Heberak seems to connect with Willowburn when she makes demands on behalf of her community. And when she kind of lets slip how much she feels, not just that this mine belongs to her, but that the mine belongs to the folks who worked and died here. And maybe she was trying to make a different point, but it seemed to play very, very well with him. So shortly after maybe 20 minutes of tense negotiations, things seem to be at an accord. Imbros summons up his assistants and they're writing out some contracts and shaking hands and untying the hostages who seem shaken, but otherwise well. Flapjack is not sure where to go right now. I believe, Philip, I think that you know that he's got like, apartment is too kind a word. He lives in sort of a bunk arrangement with the other goblins, and they have the apartment.
Nice.
But he's like, he doesn't want to leave and not witness things, but he's clearly uncomfortable and would probably be happy to go and hang out with his fellow gobs.
Griff will head over. I think we got this, Flap. If you want to go make sure the rest of your buddies are okay.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
We've got this. Thanks for your help.
Hey, thanks you.
Oh, yeah.
You ever want free pancakes? You come to Flapjack.
Ooh.
I will hold you to that.
Okay. You know what? Hold on. We're gonna make this real good. And he like rummages around in a little pocket, and he gets a business card out, right? And it is the most generic business card possible. Like, it's something that the Adventurers Guild like issued to him. But then he goes onto the back and he takes a Sharpie, right? And he writes in 3 pancakes. And then he does this little doodle of himself on it, holding a spatula. And he's like, here. This means free pancakes.
It means a lot to me, Flapjack. Thanks. I fold it very neatly and I place it in a pocket. And it's definitely not a like shove it in the pocket to forget about it. I make it like I am tucking this away. I actually don't tuck it all the way in. I start and then often Goof comes up, takes it, and then pulls it into the pocket.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe there's a little often Goof salute. Because, you know, he's your familiar. He knows how to read your particular room at all times. You've got that kind of vibe, that connection. And Flapjack seems pretty satisfied and makes his way out. And yeah, the negotiations are still going pretty hot and heavy. Gildor, what are you up to? It seems like at least that annoying elf, his attention is fully occupied and doesn't even have a chance to wander towards you.
Great. I'm looking. I'm ambling over to I think Philip and just talk about it with him about Flapjack and how things are. If he has any idea for where we can get our coffee, because I don't think I know this place at all. So,
Philip, are you more familiar with the local area?
It's the 80s, so he didn't look it up or anything. I have several brochures that I read over just in case. There's a few places of note.
Oh man. There is a place called the Bear Claw. It's this bakery coffee shop, tourist trappy kind of joint that's like one mountain over, basically.
I mean,
Maybe a 20-minute drive.
I think in a American Empire near this part of East Tennessee, there would still be a Ripley's, believe it or not. I think that in the 80s it was big to do.
Okay. All right.
So that is the thing I would point out as well, along with the Bear Claw.
I mean, whatever you're happy with, I guess.
You won't get coffee at the Ripley's. Let's go to the Bear Claw. That sounds fun.
Okay, good. Because you know, I'm not usually a coffee going person. Going out for coffee.
Right,
person.
because holistic living and coffee's got
Yeah.
lots of.
Yeah, but I think I'll be happy to relax that.
Well, if you have water, I don't mind.
Well,
You can
yeah,
even order coffee, and I'll drink your coffee, and you can have the water because it's free.
thank you. That would be really nice. I've heard that wizards drink lots of coffee. Is that a thing?
I don't know if it's a whole wizard thing, but it's a Griffin thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I have somebody told me that all these wizard, people, students drink lots of coffee and smoke lots of cigarettes during their studies. I guess.
Yeah. I was into clove cigarettes for a while, but
And what?
like clove cigarettes, it's like a special kind of cigarette.
Yeah,
Cloves.
I know.
It's good.
Yeah, okay.
I love the crackle when you like try to.
Okay.
It's like a little fire. It's good. I think I broke it, Tyler. Yes.
Yep. I, for one, am so pleased and surprised to know how much Rich knows about smoking cloves.
Let's say I did a lot of stupid things in college, and that was one of them. For about, I don't know, 3 or 4 month period until I went, my lungs hurt every time I draw that breath. This sucks a lot. It looks cool and it sounds cool, but it hurts. It hurts, so I'm gonna stop.
Clove cigarettes are a bit harsher.
They
like,
are.
They taste way better,
Mm-hmm.
but the smokes, it's not the same. So Dominic, while all of this is going on, I want to spotlight on you for a second. What are you up to?
Do we have the crew that had come that we saw in the control room? Do I see the one that had the earphones on, was listening to the Walkman?
Yeah, they seem to have a quiet moment right now where they're sort of dividing their attention between a soda and what's going on.
I'm gonna head over there, and it looks like I liked your musical taste, but I've got to introduce you to something that you may really like.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pull out my mandolin, lute. I think I've got it, or mandolin. Actually, I think it's a ukulele. I'm gonna
I think it's a uke.
And I'm gonna start in to push it, but I've learned how to flip my sax around so I can do the into it for a little salt and pepper. Push it good to teach them a new song.
They're delighted. I think just the sheer charisma of flipping instruments and making that work is certainly enough. They'll clap a little bit the first time that you do it, and they're like, oh my God. Holy shit, that's so fun. Okay. And what is this called?
It's Push It, Salt and Pepper. You will love them. They are so good.
Okay. Next time I'm at the market, I'll have to look around. I had to put this together from 4 other tapes. I've got a bi tape player. Anyway.
It sounds like they're gonna seal up everything and all, but maybe we could have a slot where we could share tapes. And I'd love to hear what y'all are doing down there for music. And I'll be honest, there's no reason to have a wall. We should tear down this wall between our people,
Okay, because like if we're getting literal, we're not
No,
that your
No,
ground
the
is
wall
our
is the
roof,
point.
and
I mean,
we
yeah,
need
the
our
wall.
roof, and you
I
need your
meant more
ground.
in a figurative sense.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we should at least do some cultural exchange. I am always down for more music. So
Music is the power of the people.
yeah. So here, and he like flips a little card into your hand. Or in fact, this one's a sheep. She flips a card into your hand, and says, "Here, this is one of the spots. You seem cool. There's a little bit of cross-cultural exchange, we're gonna call it."
Cool. And here's my card. If there's ever a gig,
Mhm.
I'd be happy to come down there and spread the love.
Okay. Yeah. Bring barter. We
No
don't
problem.
really take Empire dollars.
No.
And we don't expect the same either.
Understood.
Cool. And lastly, Debs, what are you up to? Well, while all of these clerical and negotiational things are happening.
I think there's like a moment of I think she sees Gildor and Griff kind of going off together, and she's like and kind of stands pointedly near sorry, I've forgotten his name again.
Shago.
Yeah, kind of near Shago. She's like kind of just, being there very pointedly, but not looking at him, like trying to get kind of.
And he's trying to look like a good guard. He's, the boss is here. They're clearly putting on the show for DJ Willowburn. But
I think
you can tell he's noticed you.
Yeah, I think she does this for a while, and then she gets like frustrated and is like, right, you're gonna be here like a fair bit, or just underground nearby?
I mean, I'll be real. If this goes well, I'll probably be in and out for a few weeks.
Okay, so we're going on a date. Yeah.
Okay.
You can choose where, but we're going on a date.
Okay.
Okay.
And then?
Goldie horses. Well, I don't know. See where it goes. But,
okay. Tonight?
Okay, yeah.
Some of the crystal tunnels?
Those are pretty. Crystal tunnels.
All right. Maybe a nice beast roast afterwards?
Yeah, I got a bottle of grog for my father that I've never dared open.
Aged grog's pretty good. Okay. I'll see you at
Crystal Caves.
1600 hours.
Okay. I give him a playful punch in the shoulder. I think he would have like knocked Griffin on his ass, but it's just playful punch to him.
Yeah, and he punches you back and chuckles, and then like the slightest glance, it's the slightest turn of Heberak's head. He's like, serious faced again. And but then he immediately melts back down into that lopsided toothy grin. And I think that's the end of the session. I think that's the close of this mini campaign. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming with me on this journey and taking it a bit farther than I quite thought it could go. This has been delightful. I've had a lot of fun. And I've learned a lot about this hack that I've made. So hopefully next time I run it, it'll go even better. Just sharpening that edge. Are we interested in doing stars and wishes, or do we just want to say goodbye for this game, or how do we want to play?
Good with stars and wishes.
Sure.
Fine.
How are you, Sabine?
I'm really tired. I think I want to go to bed right now.
Okay.
But I will give out stars to all of you for this game. It was nice to have a lot of slice of life stuff and getting to know the world and the people a little better. And so
I loved how personal this got, and I think that Sabine, you were a big part of how it got that personal. I loved how like deeply confrontational and sometimes logically and sometimes illogically combative he was with Imbros. That was fun.
And returning the favor with the
You do get your fire cloak back, by the way. He doesn't steal it like you might have been worried.
No, I wasn't worried. I was going for coffee with Philip. I didn't care about the fire cloak and anything to get that elf out of my hair. Right. Fire cloaks, as that is not too high a price to pay for that. But if he gives it back, that's fine. That's fine. Unless he wants to ask me more personal questions about my father or something like that. Then I will start with the fire cloak.
He's pretty busy after everything. He seems to be in charge of doing clerical stuff.
Good. I think he's perfect for that. He's pretty, whatever he wants to do, he can do it. Go away, elf, please leave me alone. I want to go with Philip and complain about elves in general.
They are pretty annoying sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, you have no idea. Like they always call you young man or young mortal or whatever, right? Like always harping on the fact that they're 500 or something.
Oh man, and I mean, but also imagine being a full-blooded elf, and whenever you screw up, your mother knows, and your grandmother knows, and your great-grandmother, and your great-great-grandmother. And like any of the people in that network of the family that are older than you, that all know.
Yeah.
That has to be extremely tedious.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, anyway, I'm going to bed now. Have a nice day, evening. Bye. See you next week. We'll meet up next week.
We're meeting next week. It's probably going to be talking about our characters and,
I love talking about
having
my characters.
Fun. So not serious gaming stuff, but a game adjacent. We'll see each other.
Okay.
Good time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks to me.
Oh, lovely. That was fun. But now stars and wishes. I'm gonna start with Tyler. What up? What's your stars?
Okay, stars. I did like seeing I liked the interaction of Sabine, Gildor, and this other elf. That was a bit of a real seeing into Gildor's resentments. That was interesting. Seeing Debs do a little flirting was fun. I liked the interaction with the uncle. I thought the stuff in the control room was tense. That was fun. I love Griff grabbing hold of my idea there in the control room. Thought that was neat. It was nice. It was a nice closeout with kind of a coming to an agreement. I think that was interesting. It was a nice way to pull out of it, I suppose. So yeah, a big stars on all the role play. That was a lot of fun.
Great. Any wishes? Anything where Or things kind of fell short.
And well, okay. I have a thought that for a Hexcrawl, I wonder, PBTA is not the world's greatest combat system. But there was a lot of fun we had in kind of the interactive stuff, which PBTA does well. I see a little. Right now, I don't know what the game wants to do. If it wants to hex crawl, if it wants to be a fighter game, there needs to be a little more variability in what the fights look like. Because they, the problem with PBTA fights is they get repetitive. And so we're just building pools to go over and over again. And that isn't all, that has problems with excitement. On the other hand, right now the mechanics aren't supporting very strongly outside of combat. Like, my idea with the control panel there was to make it hot so they could call in that would set us up for a fight. Perfectly fine, we didn't have a fight. There was no mechanic to do any of the conversing or the setup or things like that.
Well, technically, I just never called for any conversational roles because I had sort of set expectations that this was going to be more of a chatty, low roll thing. So I feel like I could have adapted this to being sort of a verbal puzzle room. Kind of a situation where you guys needed to start accumulating successes.
Ooh, now that's an interesting idea.
To have cleared the room, but I had felt that would be a little cheap, and I wanted to milk this premise for chatty drama.
But that concept of, as a mechanic, the buildup of successes for other things as activities, even if we weren't doing it this time. And I understand we did all the role play, which I thought was really interesting to have all the role play. But that idea of build up successes to achieve stuff like that, that's a neat idea. That's really cool.
That's actually something that this game, as I've written, can support. Initially, I had created the control center as a puzzle room. And so the puzzle would be figuring out what would get Heberak to play, right?
And I know we're working off of a, it's a hack of some other things, but those magic user types are weirdly underpowered. Like Rich's wizard, and I won't go into things you might have to say, Rich, on that. But I looked at the cleric, and even their stuff, it feels like there should be a build to give some oomph to some of the things they could do. And even compared to like the wizards, the clerics, at least, it's nasty, but they could get into being necromancers or shit like that. But there feels like it doesn't compare to the fighter types, who can be pretty badass. I mean, in fights, I'd sort of built up even someone like Dom going up against a big thing could do some pretty nasty damage. It would be, highest die plus whatever I added to my roll, plus if that thing was twice my size, I'd be adding 3 or 4 extra points on top of that. That's a lot of damage.
Rich is technically still shorting himself a technique.
Oh, wow. I thought
had finally caught, But all around, I love the world. I love the idea of the Hexcrawl. I loved how you adapted what the world was doing. There are a lot of super cool fun things, and over the whole stretch of it, it was really interesting to see the stuff come flowing out, the learning more about it, and have these characters grow. So I suppose that's my feedback reaching the end of the sessions.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll try to keep some of that feedback in mind. I think definitely one of the things that I've been seeing with my Xcrawl Vagabonds hack is that I'm going to have to go deeper. I'm going to have to go a bit further to make it really work. Well, I mean, it works, but there are some clear areas for improvement that I think don't require a lot of thinking and argument or playtesting or careful balancing. It just requires the work where I've got to go through and think and type and rewrite. And spellcasters definitely have kind of a womp womp sort of ability set, and as well, like spellcasting and spellcasting adjacent abilities definitely vary all the way from, you know, I heat my coffee mug to I raise the dead and do this other far out bullshit, and where once you had a something, you would have a queen, beautiful and terrible as the dawn, right? In one ability. They have a lot of swing like that, and like the default magical healing ability is just very, very, I don't want to roll that, you know? Where it's like, oh, so this much of the time I'm going to roll to heal somebody and we're all going to be in a critical situation and I'm going to instead hurt myself or them. Cool. That's definitely the time when I want us to take more hit point damage. Yeah, it creates dead zone abilities where it's like, so that's definitely stuff that I would love to go in and tweak. I think that the way we've played arcane stuff for this campaign has been, you know, better, where it's like the things as written just sort of happen. And if you want to do more with it, I make you roll, right? So Hand of Force, moving a pencil across the room, I don't give a crap. You do it. Congrats. You know, golf clap. You want to use Hand of Force to blow a kobold across a couple of train tracks? We build a pool, we roll, we see what happens. But I do think that more is required. I'm not saying, oh, well, I've taken care of that because I'm a good GM. Like that's not enough. If I make this hack and I go all the way, then I need to put something into somebody else's hands where lots of yes and experience is not required.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I think I just heard somebody was wet the bed.
An escapee. All right.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Good night,
I will
Alex.
try and leave some comments in tomorrow. With the
Please. Love
Okay.
it.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, and then there were 3. So Rich, stars and wishes.
Stars to our dearly departed players who had to go. Star Jin for a lot of we get definite ideas going on for the interrelationships of the characters, and there were a few interesting reveals, like this guy's my boyfriend. That was a shocker. But it still felt like you tipped your hand with a misdirect in a clever way rather than a gotcha. If that, I'm trying to make sure I'm not saying that you
it played genuinely and not just like I was trying to play a trick on you.
Yeah, it was the orange is the new black moment for me of like, oh, here comes a thing and you're going to make an assumption about this because like media has told you this is this kind of character, and then you find out no, they're coming from this, or they're sympathetic because of this, that kind of stuff, and I liked that. I thought that was a really clever move. I was happy that we were able to not have to go into a big fight against Deb's uncle. That was a thing where I'm like, yep, feels like it's going to be a fight. I know Philip was like, we came down here to fight, and it looks like you guys are intractable, and I offered an idea and you hate it, so we're going to fight. So let's just do the thing. And we still worked our way out of it. I played Philip as the smart person who's made their decision about this is how this is going to go makes the one attempt to make it not go that way. It fails. And so they're just like, yep, done. Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe
You okay?
everything
The
good.
bed is dry. There's a small patch that I have to clean up afterwards, but it can wait.
Okay,
Well,
Okay.
It has
we'll
been
make-
returned to bed.
got it.
and start to Deb's I'm reiterating, but started Deb's in the scene with our green handsome. That was well played on both sides and very fun. Yeah, those are my stars. There was some really cool character work and a good bit of world building going on. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. Any wishes? Any things that you think fell a little short this session or the game overall?
So there was this thing that happened, and it's hard as a GM, but like you asked a couple opening like, what is this? And people would answer, and then you kind of batted it down. And that,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and it's hard because you put it out there and you're hoping to see something cool, and then sometimes people will turtle a little bit, and if you don't accept whatever offer they bring back, then you can cause some turtling. And there were a couple moments where I'm like not only nervous about giving an answer, I'm nervous about giving an answer that's not good enough. So that was a wish that I had.
Okay.
Just there's a bit there where I'm like, man,
so that
it's
would be,
uncomfortable.
yeah, there was definitely a question where I asked you something and the beholder thing.
Yeah, like I wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know, I was already
I-
trepidatious about it, and then
Yeah, and I tried to sort of yes and that by doing the eye magic thing, but
it didn't feel like a yes and, but
yeah,
but again, it's like
Yeah.
just a wish. I'm not gonna I'll just leave it out there. It was the
yeah,
feedback
yeah,
I
like
had
like
going in my
sometime-
head.
yeah, okay, I'll try to keep that in mind. Primarily, I just didn't want to put a beholder in the room with you,
Yeah, well, I was thinking like a boulder this big, like a
like
baby
a
holder.
mini,
Yeah,
baby
like
holder?
a mini, toy
Yeah.
beholder or something.
Yeah.
The thing that wasn't actually a threat, and that's what I was trying to say, but
Mhm.
I didn't get that out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did not want to fight a beholder. I just, for some reason, imagined a 10-eyed thing watching all the screens being amusing to me. But yeah,
Yeah.
Tyler covered some of my thoughts on that. There's a part of me that's wondering, like, I wonder if this is a game, because I recently played a game called Slayers,
Mhm.
where in Slayers there are different classes, and each class has their own set of mechanics.
Mhm.
And like Slayers, the version we played was reskinned by the game's designer for Old West, like Supernatural Old West. Yes, Tyler, you would probably love it. And one of them is the character they're a gunslinger. They've got a gun and they're rolling dice to see which of the bullets hit, because each bullet has a different effect. And then the person who's the magic user is like rolling to do certain spells, but also the rolls are affecting their corruption because of their magic. So they're all their own. It's almost like these little canisters of wholly different sets of mechanics that still at the end of the day come across to a thing, which got me thinking in the idea of those, I don't know what you call it, like asynchronous isn't the right term, but kind of what I'm wondering if in this keyed a little bit off when Tyler
Asymmetrical.
said, yeah, sure, asymmetrical is probably a much better term, where Tyler said, PBTA doesn't do combat. Well, it doesn't. Like maybe there's a well, it can, but like
I like PBTA combat, but I like it because, how do I best say this? Good PBTA combat has more interesting stakes. Like it forces you to consider having more interesting stakes than you are in the room and so is another person. You both want to make the other fall down, and then you roll dice to see who gets to do that.
right.
Right, like in a PBTA combat, the scope is different. And if you ignore the scope, then you're going to have a really, really boring time. But if you don't ignore the scope, then, you know, you are pulling in the physical circumstances that the characters are in, or the social, emotional circumstances that the characters are in, which a lot of non-apocalypse world PBTA games, like, I'm not sure that they even look at that aspect of the way Apocalypse World is written and then go, meh, who cares? Nobody cares about how you feel when you're in a fight, and just runs right past it. I think that they just barely even notice that that's there and then write something else, right? But but there's that emotional interoperability and those stakes that are in there.
So maybe it was an inartful description, because I agree, like Apocalypse World combats are fun,
and I
Masks
like that
combats are fun, Power Beyond Doubt does combat pretty darn fun. I think maybe dungeon crawling has so much expectation to it that it's harder.
What kind of expectations? Because
Like, I don't know, there's a part of me that always lives in that dissonance of I'm in a dungeon, so I need to do dungeon stuff, and you know, it can go back and forth.
Sure. And I think to a certain extent that I played things pretty easy on you, and was not until like the last couple of sessions even like
pushing back,
bringing enemy tags and pushing back on.
I would love a tighter economy on the tags. I mentioned it before, but like the whole, like, I feel guilty for asking to be able to do this thing that's on my character sheet, and I don't have any, not any, but like, I don't feel solid in it's okay now, but not okay now kind of deal. Like something along those lines would help a lot for me from tags, because there's a part where I'm just like, fuck, I just wish I could just roll dice. Like, I have stress about, like, can I actually be the magna cum laude again? No, I can't. I don't know. So there's that bit of, it's a discussion, but also I don't want to be that guy who's constantly like hitting the same thing. So, but those are my couple, which I think Tyler said it much better than I did vis-a-vis the whole mechanics thing.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that I've said previously, I think that Vagabonds and this hack, like the thing that they do that feels good moment to moment and when you're rolling, is that negotiative aspect. And so I feel like maybe you're feeling a little anxious because you're always bringing the same things to the negotiating table.
Yeah, which could be a poor character build on my part. I own that.
Yeah, and it's got those same drawbacks as, say, Fate. It's like building aspects is actually really hard to do well.
Don't like Fate also for very similar reasons.
I mean, I love the aspects in Fate, and everything else I could just throw out of a window, because it's like, oh, okay, this is super boring.
Not to jump back in, because I've done my wishes, I suppose. I suppose because I'm looking over on Booze, and like the combat, maybe having some options in there, vis-a-vis, say, a Monster of the Week or some of the other games that as you hit, give you some idea of like move someone to a position, or because right now it is bare bones set. It's clean strike, it's exchange blows. And I see where you're talking about the flavor and the stakes and all of that. At the moment, as written, it feels so bare bones. It's hard. It's hard as the player to say, "Ooh, I think I'm really wanting to do this," but you, I mean me, or the player feels like, okay, I want to ask for this sort of thing from it, rather than it just be slamming into each other. Because I do agree with you. There are good ways to do combat PBTA. I don't
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think it is its shining moment, but there is certainly good ways
Yeah.
to do it.
And like what I like best about BTA combat is that it's fast. And as a GM, I don't roll. And did I mention fast? Because what I want out of combat is a handful of dramatic, tense moments. I like people need to get hurt or miraculously avoid getting hurt, but they saw the possibility was real. And then the combat is over and you're dealing with the consequences, right? In a dungeon crawling game like this, the consequences are usually, can we rest or not? And then, well, what's next? Let's go to the next room. Holy crap. Hope it's not as hard as that one was, right? So that's interesting. This is some good food for thought. But Alex, we have been yammering away, but I want to know what your stars and wishes are.
Yeah. Wishes. I think with this group,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to go into moves to kind of get interesting social stuff happening and consequences, but it's sometimes fun to throw that wrench in, I think, of putting you're trying to talk down somebody or a tense situation and having a roll kind of like, oh, is this going to go in a way I was not expecting at all?
Yeah.
That's basically my only wish.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that gets just mitigated by players with more experience.
Right. Like,
So
I think that
but
this went very well, but I think with a game group that I knew slightly less well, that I definitely would have gone with the mechanized puzzle room.
Yeah. So stars. Well, one very small moment I have to mention is, and I feel like Sabine was setting up for my little side chat joke about Xcrawl bingo and like trying to get a comment about Wizard Academy, and I feel like Rich knew she was doing that and went a different way. I don't know if he.
I mean, that went.
If he just
What, me
missed it.
spite you? No, I'm going to do that.
if it was spite, that was one of my favorite moments.
Yay, I got a star for spite. Awesome.
Yeah. I loved all the little big man's snarky comments. I loved like him being talked down to and him just the little biting comments back were great. Sabine paying forward that matchmaking and pushing Debs, the whole setting up of a cute orc guard. And I really like the moment of Griff setting off the heating up the computer, and it was more the aftermath of the
Ambrose,
not exactly getting in Griff's face, but a very much, I know what you're doing. Let's not do that again. And
you are not the only spellcaster in the room. That was cute.
Griff's
but,
kind of reaction to it as well.
But maybe not.
And also the late game often goof appearance.
Yes. Thank you for working.
Yeah, I was
working Urfel in because I like him.
He's on the bingo card. So if I'm going to take away,
he should be actually. I forgot. I didn't have him
on my bingo.
I'm sure everyone else had.
You'd be very hurt to define.
Yeah,
he's not on Alice.
I mean, the only ones in my head were yoga, and I went to Wizard Academy. I've been on the tour. as the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one's a bright spot. Like that's got to be the center, right? When Tyler whips out the Dom saying when I was on tour, those stories are good
Oh yeah.
because you always
yeah.
bring up some pop star from forgotten pop star and make me wistfully remember them.
We haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, and
all right.
last start would be just having it not be like. I mean, I've really enjoyed like the combat stuff with the train and such, but I also really liked the finale wasn't combat. It was this kind of family reunion negotiation thing. Oh, and one final one was just the very awkward Gildor and Ambrose.
Oh yeah, those were good. Those were good scenes. I was like,
yeah.
how far do I want
Gildor's-
to push this?
Yeah, Gildor's trauma and issues are definitely coming to the forefront.
Yep. And just
Like,
Gildor being very,
His buttons were so pushed.
damn you for being so satisfied and at peace with yourself.
Yeah.
Just so so frustrated.
I do like
So
I like
cute.
seeing Gildor like when his mask of I'm at peace with myself, yoga balanced person just cracking intensely.
To be real, like practically every yoga person I've ever known, like the mask is so thin. It's so thin.
Yoga is the only thing stopping murder.
It is the only thing between them and like going to ask God's manager for a refund.
Serenity now, serenity now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we got to see,
Yeah.
Russ Monster Flapjack.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
The real stars.
I'm
of the
gonna
show.
say
Yeah.
one wish. I wish we'd actually got to have Betty or
yes.
actually have a little bit of a meteor kind of moment, like a little bit of interaction, and
that would have
even if
been
it was
cool.
like a little bit of a Karen want to see the manager while she's being held hostage type thing. I don't know.
I don't think that's in Betty's character, but I think I don't think that Betty's insecure enough to be like, I want to see your manager. I think she'd be like, she'd be like, I'm your manager now. That's the read that I get off of.
So
Betty.
what are you getting from doing this? Just
that? I could offer you twice as much. Well, not even just that. It's just like, oh, what's your name, young man? Oh, where are you from? No. Oh, you're that. I know your granddaddy, kiddo. Do you want me to call him? Like whatever it took, she within a few minutes of just light conversation, I feel like she'd have an in and be like, so when we first sat down, I asked you for a coffee and you said no. Let's try that again. And would
Maybe
like
Ambrose
get a
was the
coffee and
first
they'd
one.
be like, 2 creams.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It was like Ambrose was the first one who met her and was like,
Yeah.
oh no, she needs to be kept separate. She's gonna walk all over my boys.
Yeah. And now it's my turn for stars and wishes. Stars, all of you and your characters and your you-ness. Everybody, I think, made a great flavorful character that they played very powerfully throughout this game. I love taking the GM seat with this team, if only to see Rich in the player seat and see what he gets up to, and how he handles things. Stars to everyone for going along with my concept for this finale. I do think that a situation like this does require a little bit of player buy-in, because like with the wrong sorts of players or an insufficient amount of buy-in, it's like suddenly it's Tom Clancy red team bullshit, and things don't really play out correctly. I'm really glad that things got really tense for a second and then de-escalated again, because that made things feel really real and consequential, but also my brain was not in ready for combat mode. Just between you, me, and the part of the character keeper that y'all aren't supposed to go in, I did not finish creating these characters for fighting. They are mostly done, but they are not finished. I liked being able to break out a bit more of the world building, you know, because this isn't the games anymore. Like, there were pistols in play. I didn't get to bring this out into the open, but like at the main console station in the control room, there's a big shotgun mounted underneath the desk. You know, things like that going on. Although the Underdark Empire relations aren't super clear to me, I'm glad that we kind of got to more or less play with them and see those tensions. So that was a lot of fun. Let's see, what other wishes do I have? I mean, of course, lots of things that were noted before. Once again, I enjoyed bringing back things. I'm happy that everyone is still attached to the rust monsters. People indulging in my need to describe refrigerators so that the specific problem the rust monsters were having was clear. That was fun. Yeah, no, just a lot of delightful scenes that weren't really low tension, but were low violence. And, you know, getting to trundle around in those and see the characters interact more and make the world feel kind of real and grounded was super, super nice. Wishes. I wish Gildor had a chance to yell at his actual dad. I wished that I could have given Gildor some kind of scene with his own dads. Let's see, other things that I might wish. I wish that I'd had more material to throw at Philip. I'm so glad that Philip was so interested in like being a dungeon judge, because that did give me some ins to throw things at him and play with it, and that was very good.
Cool.
So that was cool, but like, I don't know, I didn't have like family drama. I should have maybe tried to help you like invent some kind of academy rival or something. I don't know.
No, I was really happy with getting mixed in. I appreciated Sabine like latching on to the romance. That was really fun.
It's so cute. It was so cute.
Good.
I love that. Any other big wishes that I have for this campaign, or things that kind of I feel like I fell short? I'm so sorry for inviting you to give me an idea and then rejecting it.
Forgiven.
That's definitely not what that technique is meant to do. And I'll try to get better about that. If only to make my questions more correctly pointed, like, right? It's just like the maxim that I have of, hey, don't put something to a roll if the outcomes of that roll include things that you don't want to happen, such as the scene ending, right? Which is sort of a thing. It's like, oh, well, roll to not run away. And then they fail. It's like, oh, that means the scene is over and I wanted some squirming. Shit. Right? So I'll try to be more judicious about that. But otherwise, I mean, I don't have a lot of regrets for this game. I feel,
Good.
like I said, I feel like I've learned a lot about this hack. I think here's something, like one thing that I really want to do is either make leveling less impactful across the board, or God help me, make a level up chart, right? Where it's like level 1, you get this, level 2, you get this, level 3, you get this. Because also like 1, I feel like to a certain extent, I was holding back XP on you guys because every level is so impactful. You get a new tag, you get a new technique, and you get HP, and you gain a signature move option, which is not quite as crazy, and you get a fame tag, which is definitely something that I like having there, and I probably won't cut it as a thing. But also like piling tags onto your characters can be a problem, right? Especially if it happens too quickly and you don't have time to acclimate towards that as players. Because when you're having trouble with your tags and feeling like they are useful but not too useful, I feel like maybe adding more to the pile doesn't help. I don't know, Rich, if that was the experience you had or not. But it's something that has the potential to create distance between the character and the player's mind, right? Where it's like, well, now they have all of these tags that I came up with because I was obligated to come up with them. And yeah, like. So, and
Scaling is hard.
Scaling's hard. Scaling is hard.
Hard.
And like, you guys scale up pretty good. I might make some things optional, maybe, like you get a choice of this or this, who knows? It's something to think about, but definitely for games longer than a one shot, this game needs a little help. And like, once again, there are a lot of things about playing this game hack with you and looking at some of the later content for Vagabonds of Dyfed or whatever, and being like, I want to see these tables where these things were invented for their use. Cause like, how do you play this game? Because I read this game and I'm like, I think of a very different game than this might support, but clearly it's not that different or something. So yeah, like I said, very, very interesting. But anyways, this has been a lot of rambling, and thank you guys for your patience with that. But this has been a great campaign. I've had a lot of fun. Maybe I'm actually decent at GMing. And I would love to do other similar things another time.
Cool.
But now I'm looking forward to Power Beyond Doubts. So yeah.
So am I. So thank you again for DJing for us, Jen. That was a fun mini series, a campaign. And as we talked about a little bit, in 2 weeks, we will kick off a Power Beyond Doubt series. Next week there, I'm not going to be able to meet with everybody, and they're going to hang out and maybe work on characters. And if you do, please let me know, just so I as GM have an idea of what's coming my way.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what's happening. But we'll, at this point, bring this recording to a close. Thank you, everybody, for playing. And thanks for anybody watching. Have a good day.